7. You know, every Sunday evening we're on your radio just giving you the very best in sports, highlights, insights, a huge conversation on what has happened over the weekend here. Right, so today we are back here on the show, and my guests are already seated, the usual panelists right here on the show, and we'll be talking about number one, Dreams FC. And just how it has ended for Dreams FC at the moment now, and I know that many of you might not particularly be excited with what has happened to Dreams FC, and we'll be talking a bit about it. Kumasi showed up for Dreams FC at the Babaya Stadium, but Dreams FC could not show up for the crowd that made their way to the stadium. But today, before I start the show, I just want to start today's show with a brief song. A very brief song. I just want to start the show with a brief song. The thing is that there are two songs actually, but if I play the other song, they'll say that, So I'm going to start with a song, just a very calm song, just for about a minute, and then we'll get back into the studio to begin the discussion. So this is a song by Aerosmith, 1977. It says, "Dream On." And Dreams FC could not dream on in their CAF Confederations Cup game in there. They were beaten by 3-0 against Zamalek at the Babayara Stadium. Let me get my guests in the studio. Uri Kwampofo is here. Aniela Alote is also here.
No.
And keep quiet.
No.
And Beleshen is also here.
I will not be silenced. That's Saka.
Okay, what?
And Isaka.
Anyway, I know the Arsenal fans are really, really excited. You get an opportunity to talk about Arsenal. Don't worry.
And also those who didn't win.
Don't worry, you get an opportunity. But they drew 2-2.
They didn't win.
It was fair.
They didn't win.
It was fair.
But because of VAR.
How Villa started, Villa should have run riots, but they didn't.
And so it's 2-2 with a Jackson upper hand.
They deserve credit for it. They deserve
great.
credit for it.
1 point. Still
Anyway,
ninth.
If you're joining us on Facebook, it's on 3FM 927, and then you can also send your messages to us on Twitter at 3Sports GH, on Instagram as well, 3Sports GH, and we'll be glad to have your comments on the show. Bill, let me start with you. How are you feeling?
A bit disappointed, but then again, Dreams overachieved.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Aniela, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I wanted to stay with Still Believe. I even wanted to adopt it as my motto for the season, but no.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Anyway, Oreku, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. Good weekend. Yeah.
Hey, sir.
How about Dreams?
Oh, still good weekend.
Good weekend.
Those of us who saw the spirit-led prophecy, we knew it was coming. But
anyway,
right now Dreams have turned to Midiama.
Anyway, Bill, let me start with you all today. Dreams, what are your takeaways from the game?
They got a better crowd, so expectations were naturally higher, but they could not meet those expectations. And I quite remember when I was doing a bit of research ahead of the game between Dreams and Zamalek, and I realized that Zamalek were even more potent away from home than at home in the CAF Confederation Cup. They had scored 8 goals in about 5 away matches, and so they were averaging more than a goal per game. So it looked likely that they were going to score away from home anyway. But the problem was, would Dreams score more? And unfortunately, they couldn't even score 1. And they took solid 3 goals. And so it's a bit disappointing. But, and Also knowing the fact that Dreams had the chance to get 2 additional slots for Ghana in the CAF competitions is disappointing. But we should give them some praise because they've overachieved. No one expected them to get to the group stage. No one expected them to get to the quarterfinal. No one expected them to get to the semis. But Ghanaians, when you get to this point, we all...
Yeah, if you got in there, go.
Yeah, go.
Why are you not going?
But I'm fat.
Anyway, Angela.
Yeah, I think I'm like one of Dreams FC's biggest cheerleaders. I was actually really looking forward to this game because I thought, like we were saying on warm-up, and even though you had warned me for the 100th time that looking at how they had celebrated after the draw, things were not looking as they should. But I was still really hopeful. I think that the crowd really showed up for them. And like Bill has said, and even Oreku on his social media, they've done amazing and we are to be very, very, very proud of them. But if we just look at the performance on the day, I just felt like it wasn't the Dreams FC that we are used to seeing. Some of the things that were going on the pitch, I don't know. I don't know how Zito is feeling.
What do you make of the missed chances? Look at some of the chances on the screen.
No. Yeah, this is not something that we would expect from them, especially looking at how they've played throughout the competition. If it didn't at all, it should just be a simple sitter, and it's something that they could have easily scored. I don't know. I can't even pinpoint what exactly went wrong in this game, and it's quite disappointing because on the day, what everybody is going to remember is 3-0. At least, even if it was 3-2 or something, it would show that we at least.
This is exactly what Oreku said after the Arsenal game. That in the first half, it looked so close. The 5-0 scoreline is not a true reflection of the game. Yeah. And it's exactly what played out today.
Yeah, and nobody will remember that. All they remember is Arsenal scored 5-0. And now will be the one to constantly remind.
Anyway, Rick, let me have your thoughts.
I'm not too surprised. And I held back on my observations after the first leg, but I was a bit disappointed to see Dreams FC celebrate in the manner which they did. I didn't want to burst a bubble at that point because like if I talk, they will say just like how I've attacked Dreams, Mediama, I'm doing the same to Dreams. But there's a certain psychological edge that comes to celebrate. The moment you're seen dancing in the dressing room, it's okay to go clap in front of your fans. But to be dancing in your dressing room to the extent that someone who'd even watch the game and chances up on that celebration will think that Dreams FC won. Yeah. Only to find out that it was 0-0. The truth is, with the away goal dynamic, the only winner on the day was Zamalek.
Yep.
There was no way Dreams FC came out with an advantage with the 0-0 there. And you see, especially at this level in Africa, the margins are so tiny that you need to be able to capitalize on these minor factors to topple your opponent. It's not about quality of tactics, you are in the semi-finals. It means you're good enough. How can you unbalance your opponent? Is it psychologically? Is it with the atmosphere? Something even before the game starts. Can you get into their head? And I think right from last week, the mindset that they were celebrating and that almost as if the job was done. I don't know what the game plan was. But that fed into coming home and now all of a sudden making it a free gate, something that they opposed in the quarterfinal stage. It's interesting that I bring this point again, similar to the Black Queens when they played against Zambia. Look, teams are used to what they go through week in, week out. The truth is, Dreams FC have never played like this in front of a crowd like this at home ever in their lives. The crowd they saw at the Barbara Sports Stadium, if the who is filled, which it isn't, it won't be close to this atmosphere
at all.
All of a sudden, there was extra pressure on them. And just like it happened with the Black Queens, it takes time to get used to this. It takes time to settle. You're like, an atmosphere that's supposed to go in your favor all of a sudden is overwhelming you. Hey, Kumasi really came out for us like this. Then now we have to do all for them. It's not helping you. It's actually putting you under pressure. In the same way Zambia took an early lead, Zamalek did the same thing. And so 2 factors for me, even before a ball was kicked, from last week to the atmosphere here, Zamalek had it in the bag even before a ball was kicked. And then to the match itself where I feel the approach was so wrong. because all of a sudden, I don't know whether due to the celebrations, they thought, yes, now we have Zamalek, let's go and attack and beat them. Meanwhile, when you went away, you only scraped the nil. The only reason why you actually got the nil was because your keeper was on beast mode. It was a heroic performance. It's not as if you dominated.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing to do, come back home, continue to keep it tight and see where the game leads. Because remember, you cannot concede. That's the number one rule. It's not about you scoring. You're not chasing the game. All of a sudden, Dreams are throwing numbers forward. Dreams are leaving a lot of spaces at the back. They get carried.
Because look at the third goal.
They get carried by the crowd and they lose it. And it's just these tiny things. Yes, they will learn, but when will Dreams realistically get a chance like this again and reach in the final?
Exactly.
This competition may even be cancelled. Look at how far they've come from winning the FA Cup to qualify to that group stage. Would they ever get a chance like this? I don't think so. And that's what I think makes it more painful. If they were a side that consistently comes to this is their first time. They are last by 4 in the Ghana Premier League. If they don't win the FA Cup, that's the end.
That was literally my concern, because at first I thought that, I guess, if they had gone through to the final, then we can say that that's what they were working all season for. But now it's not going to show. Where are they? Is it 16, 17?
Yeah. And
looking at the points,
and you see, the thing is that now that they've been kicked out of the Confederations Cup, I mean, the shock of it might also affect the league form, which could potentially be bad.
And the points, the margins are so little, 31, 29 towards the end. It's not good. It's not looking very good.
Dreams, it didn't work out for Dreams FC.
Dream on.
Yeah, they couldn't dream on. I mean, still believe I don't know what happened to them today, but commiserations to the team and also to the management and everybody. Our very good friend Aminu Shadow, I don't know how you're feeling now, but
he actually tweeted.
But commiserations to you. So what did he tweet?
Let me pull that up. I've liked it. He said, defeat is always a bitter pill to swallow, especially in this manner. The lads are hurting at the moment, and rightly so. We wanted to do more, but it wasn't meant to be. Thanks to all of you for this wonderful experience. Inshallah, this would make us even stronger and a bit to move forward.
Well, I mean, I understand him. The thing is, you see, like I told you yesterday, I am Ghanaian, and so I know what semi-final defeats mean. I know I've seen so many semi-final defeats that I didn't think that the way they celebrated, warranted that level of celebration. You were talking
about it, and I was wondering why I didn't see it.
I'm telling
I
you,
see it.
Look, you are Ghanaian. Look, if any country should fear a semi-final, it should be you, because you've been there too many times to know that. Look, qualifying to the final is not automatic. You understand? And so, Dreams have just swallowed the bitter pill, but. Hopefully they are able to recover from that and do well. They have an FA Cup game against Sky FC, quarter-final game. Hopefully they get into the semi-final, and then if they potentially win, then they can go back into Africa and show us what they can do again. But this is where we bring the Dreams conversation to an end. Bill, Al Ahly are in the final again of the CAF Champions League. They beat Mazembe to get there. I mean, Al Ahly are almost the Real Madrid of Africa.
Dominant. 4 out of 5 finals. I mean, it goes to show that they have the whole of Africa on lock, on a very firm grip, and it's difficult to challenge a team with that pedigree. As you rightly said, more like a Real Madrid of Africa. And if you're going to the final this many times and you are record winners of the competition and all of that, then I mean it's difficult to bet against you when you get to that point. I think they are at the position where they can win it again, and it wouldn't be much of a surprise. I mean, I hope in the next few years other teams do challenge them and then win the competition. But for now, they're seemingly unbeatable. But they would have to transcend that to the Club World Cup. That's where, a lot of the juice would also be. The Real Madrids and the rest will be there to compete. And so if they also manage to get to that point and also battle against the big boys in Europe and the world, and they do very well, then I think it will be a good thing for Africa.
So the thing about how Ali qualified to the final is that they played Mazembe away from home in Lubumbashi, and they drew 0-0. They took them to Cairo and they beat them 3-0.
They did highly celebrate.
Exactly. so it's almost the reverse of what happened to Dreams.
I didn't celebrate.
And Esperance de Tunis also beat Mamelodi Sundowns
yeah.
home and away, actually, which was shocking. I mean,
Very.
1-0 at home, 1-0 away.
Very.
And Coach Rulani Mokwena might be reeling now, sitting with the players and talking about what really went wrong in their game.
But yeah, that's the difference, because look at Al Ali in the Egyptian Premier League. They're like, what, 11th? But look at what they are like. They know what they are doing. So even if they end up like Chelsea, a mid-table club, they are doing more.
Anyway, Reku, let's talk about Ali and fifth straight final, beating a club like Mazembe, who are also at the top of African football. If you look at Ali, what do you make of the team as that level of a powerhouse in African football?
I think Bill perfectly described it when he says that they are the Real Madrid of Africa. Look, this team has gone through several transitions, be it coach, be it players. The Ackley team of 5 years ago is nowhere near the same team today. But we're still seeing a consistent level of performance where at the end of the day, we see a number of teams compete on the continent in the CAF Champions League, and in the end, Ackley reaches the final.
Yeah.
I think that's what best summarizes their exploits in Africa. It's a mentality thing. I remember when both of us spoke to Picho, I think a couple of years ago, he mentioned that they don't usually start the CAF Champions League well, but they come alive in the group stages, find a way to scrape through, and then once they get to the knockout round, it's like a completely different team where they shift about 2 gears up and they just go from strength to strength to strength. That's like the DNA of Ackley. When this group stage started once again, everybody was like, yeah, it doesn't look like they have it in them this time round. But some way, somehow, they always seem to find a way, go against all the odds, and then, just like how you've seen in the past few years, get into the final. And once they do get to the final, you know that they have a very good chance of winning it. And given the record that they do have, considering the fact that they've won it for the most times on the continent. So I think they're clear favorites, but there's something in there for all of these African teams, especially the Ghanaian clubs, that transitioning doesn't have to start when one cycle ends. Actually are already thinking about their next generation. They're investing in their youth teams. There's a lot of investment going on in the fan culture, off the pitch, infrastructure, the museum, stuff to really embed that tradition. Look, if you're an Ackley player and they take you into that museum and you just take a look at what the club has achieved.
Look, even me as a journalist, I was amazed.
Yeah. That's the beginning of instilling a tradition into a player. Look, if House of Folk signs any player right now in the Ghana Premier League, what will really make them understand the magnitude of the club? It doesn't matter even if you are mid-table. But something needs to show for it. Heart of Folk, our clubs here don't document anything. And so players just come in and like, Haas is Haas. And they misbehave. You see House of Folk players going for parties nights before
buying buffaloes at Kaneshi.
They don't know what it means to play for the club. And it's some of these things that are worrying. That actually, the time that Kotoko and Haas were dominating Africa, they were nowhere. They were nowhere. They were now about to spark, and now look at them, far gone. So I mean, it just gives us an idea of what we have to do to get back to the top.
Anyway, Al Ahly, founded in 1907 on the 24th of April as a gathering place for Cairo Students' Unions. Ali has a record 43 Egyptian Premier League titles, 39 Egyptian Cup titles, 14 Egyptian Super Cups, and then they've won 11 CAF Champions Leagues, 1 CAF Confederations Cup, 8 CAF Super Cups, and a record 4 African Cup Winners' Cups. They also have 1 Afro-Asian Club Championship, 1 Arab Club Champions Cup, 1 Arab Cup Winners' Cup, and then a record 2 Arab Super Cups. And the huge one, though, for me, is that they've won 4 bronze medals in the FIFA Club World Cup. So this is Al Ahly and the magnitude of the club. And so it's not shocking where they are at the moment. But, Bill, let's talk about experience. They are also back in the final of the CAF Champions League after they won the title back-to-back in 2018-2019. I mean, how do you think they are going to do now? I mean, in a competition like this, in a final, they play Ali.
Yeah, it's a tough ask for them, considering the kind of team they are going to face in the final. But any team has a chance to win, but thinking back at Esperance and the fact that Hartlepool defeated them in 2000 to win the CAF Champions League, and seeing that they are still there, and Hartlepool are nowhere near there.
Yep.
Man, it goes to show how far Ghanaian clubs are falling when it comes to competitions like this.
92.7.
But you'd have to credit Esperance, I mean, for staying at the top like this, and also further solidifying the whole perception that the CAF Champions League is now basically for North African teams. A team from Tunisia, a team from Egypt.
Mamelodi Sundowns took it for a while.
But they are back. They are back, and it's. I'm hoping for a very exciting final.
Oh, I think Ron Williams could have done better with that goal. I really think he should have done better.
No, he should have saved that. We've seen him pull off
from Wabali. That's not so. Maybe when he does, hopefully. But I think strategy would be everything for this particular one, especially for Esperance. So I think the first leg for them would be home. So maybe they really need to do what they need to do, and then get that out of the way. But Williams, you are right. He should have done better.
He really
no
should have
matter
done
what,
better.
I don't know. I don't even know why they are talking about this Esperance Ahly game like it will be a clue. These two teams have met in the semi-finals consecutively. Ahly have given them 4 aggregates in both games. So why are we talking about?
So you think they don't stand a chance?
No way. Especially because the second leg is at home.
No, you see, the thing is...
The last one, they went to give them 3 in Tunisia and added 1 here.
No, you see, the thing is that we need to be fair.
Let's be fair.
Everybody has a chance.
You're very bad. You don't sugarcoat anything.
No, but why would you sugarcoat it?
Nice.
It's like Liverpool and Roma didn't meet in the Champions League.
Yeah, then you say Liverpool will win. Yeah.
It's impossible, basically.
Arsenal as an example.
Because you don't get there. No, that's the thing, because you don't get it. Right, so this is the Sports Ultras right here on 3FM 92.7, and let's do Ghanaian players abroad. We've ended the conversation on the CAF Champions League and the implications of what the Ali and Esperance final will mean for African football. Also, we've spoken about Dreams FC and their loss to Zamalek at the Kumasi Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Let's talk about Ghanaian players abroad. Kudus, Semenyo, Andre Ayew, and many more. Oreku, you are our resident Ghanaian players abroad correspondent. Let's go.
Because he himself wants to be a Ghanaian player abroad, but he's now a local journalist, soon to be international.
Oreku, don't mind there. Let's go.
Wait, who should I start with?
Oh, any of them. Just start with any of them.
I think Andre Ayew.
Andre, yes, Andre.
For Andre, he continues to show his quality, and I know there'll always be that conversation whenever Andre pops up about the Black Stars, but look, it's about the club and what he can do for his team at the moment. Le Havre have struggled in the past few months, and facing Paris Saint-Germain away on the night of a possible party, because if PSG won, they would have been crowned champions of Ligue 1. And to kind of spoil the party, they were seconds within a very famous victory, which would have helped them a lot in their relegation battle. Unfortunately, they didn't get that, but they got a 3-3 draw, which is decent, because on paper I don't think they even counted a point when they were looking at that PSG game. Andre Ayew, I think in the first half, was one of Le Havre's best players. Really held the ball up well up front and got a very deserved goal, which I think was a really fantastic finish by him. It wasn't a surprise, because if you're looking at his numbers in Ligue 1, remember he actually burst onto the scenes in Ligue 1. One of his favourite opponents have always been Paris Saint-Germain. His tally against them is now 5 goals and 2 assists. So it wasn't a surprise to see him score against them. The question now is, can they carry this bit of confidence to see out the season and maintain their status in the French Ligue 1? But I think overall, Andre has been a decent signing for them. The interesting bit is that there's always that talk that no matter what he does, he shouldn't come to the national team. But I'm also of the opinion that if you say the metric for which players should be invited is form, and Andre is scoring, then why should we ignore him? Because you see, at the end of the day, it's not as if, one, he's not playing, or two, he's playing in some league that is you can't disregard. It's somewhere hidden in Europe or somewhere that you know the quality is there. He's playing at the highest level. Hey, he's playing at the highest level, playing against Champions League teams, and if he's scoring against them, I mean, I don't have any objection to him being included in the team. I think that's even a discussion for later. But if his form is good, I'm of the opinion that he should be invited. It doesn't matter how old he is. We've seen older players being called to the national team, and teams even win trophies with older players. It's all about how he'll be managed and how they can bring the best out of him even at this age. But I still think he has some quality left.
Right. Let's shift the conversation to Mohamed Kudus. Over the weekend, his team, West Ham, drew 2-2 with Liverpool. Dramatic game. Kudus assisted the first goal for West Ham.
Yeah. I think it was a very good performance from him. Once again, providing a lot of industry on the left wing. But I've said time and time again, I'm not too comfortable with him on the left. I don't know if I'm the only one who's noticed it, but it oversimplifies his game, and I don't think that's his biggest strength, because if he's dribbling to the outside, that's a strong foot. It narrows every possible angle. All the danger is central. Every defending manager doesn't want dangerous opposition players in the center areas. If they are wide, they are fine. So if Kudus, in a bid to move the ball to a stronger foot, is always going wider of goal, then there's a problem.
And we're reducing his assistant goals.
I think if you're looking at it, his involvement in games are slightly. He may get the odd assist like the cross to Bowen, which is decent, but the amount of involvement in games that he had when he caught fire between, let's say, November through to December to January before he left for the AFCON, we're not seeing that now. And maybe that is also coupled with West Ham's overall poor form, or that could actually have contributed to that. I do understand the headache for David Moyes. Bowen is in form. His favourite is off the right. Paqueta is your best number 10. Antonio offers something going forward, very bullish, holds the ball up well, very good for a team like West Ham who don't have a lot of possession. So really, what's the position left for Kudus? Is that left side? And maybe the Paqueta's imminent transfer might open doors for him or Bowen. Once one of them leaves, then there might be that opening for Kudus. But the thing about him is that he's still doing a decent job, maybe a 7/10 on that left wing, where he's demonstrated that he can play across the front three. But I just don't think his future is there, to be honest.
Most definitely. Antoine Semenyo.
Semenyo, very, very, very good player. I think probably in the conversation for the best Ghanaian in the Premier League this season, which hasn't been straightforward, especially considering the form of Jordan and then Kudus as well. But I think he's been very, very crucial to Bournemouth's season. Just today, the win that they picked against Brighton means that they've matched their highest ever points tally in the Premier League, that I think 48 points, and still have about 3 games left to go, so they'll probably go on to beat that. But if you're looking at the rank of importance for players in the team, Semenyo is up there. If you take out Solanke, he's probably the one in there who started the most games. If you take out Solanke, he's probably the next one in there for goal contributions. So he's been very, very important to Iraola.
And Solanke himself has scored a lot.
He's scored so many goals. I think 18 now.
Yeah, he's
That's
also
wild.
in the conversation for the Golden Boots. I mean, Semenyo is...
Also Palmer.
Thank you. You should have scored yesterday.
Yeah, that's the only trophy, but carry on.
But yeah, I think he's been very good. And the reason why he's in the team is because he has shown versatility. Because if he's stuck to the fact that, hey, I'm a striker and I only want to play as an out-and-out number 9, there's no way he's dispatching Solanke from his own team. That means that he would have been very limited and would have received just paltry minutes on the bench. But that ability to demonstrate that he can play on both wings has given another edge to this Bournemouth side. And just the mere fact that he, unlike Kudus, Semenyo can play with his left and right. In fact, this season, you're looking at him scoring 4 goals with his left, 4 goals with his right, out of the 8 that he scored in the Premier League.
Wow.
he said in an interview 4 years ago that his favorite foot is his right foot. That's the strongest. But when he was growing up, he also trained his left. So you're meeting a player as a fullback that's coming at you. He can equally go on the outside. He can equally come on the inside. So that alone is a benefit. So he can get access to different angles because you don't even know where what's the strongest foot and where he can go.
Right.
So you can't even anticipate defending him. I think that it's been really good because if you look at a number of his goals, he usually cuts in and shoots and with his left foot, which is supposed to be his weaker foot. And so he usually catches fullbacks off guard. And I think that has been an advantage for him, his versatility and the fact that he's quote unquote ambidextrous because of how he's trained his weaker foot, that's his left foot. I think it's a message out there to footballers.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really have a weak foot, should you?
Yeah.
Especially when you know that that's your weakness.
Yeah.
Why don't you dedicate 10% or 20% of your cone work time to your left foot as well?
Yeah.
I understand how annoying it can be, but I believe that if you work on it, your left or your weak foot would actually get to a decent level.
Yeah.
Because
plus you'll be lethal. They can't box you, and again, nobody knows what you're going to do
I feel
next.
players are
when you're
becoming
next
so
out.
one-sided.
Saka.
Yeah, like someone like Saka
Saka.
like this. You know that if you're able to defend your inside against him, you are negating about 80% of his threat because he doesn't like to go down the line.
Yep.
Unless he's diving.
Yeah, he does it as a last resort.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want that to also be a first option, so he's able to, unbalance the thoughts of defenders who face him. But Semenyo, what a great season he's having.
Great season for Antoine Semenyo and also for Bournemouth as well, because this is their first ever time that they've had 48 points in the Premier League, which is a club record for them. So happy for Bournemouth and what they've been able to achieve. And today, one of my friends put on our WhatsApp group that the future of football is Spanish because of what Iraola is doing with Bournemouth. But I think we've forgotten one man. We've forgotten the picture on our screen, Abdul Fattah Issahaku. His Leicester side have qualified to the Premier League. I know you've done a lot on Fattah Issahaku over the last week, but just take me through, like in about 2 minutes, let's talk a bit about Fattah and potentially what he would add to this Leicester side if they finally sign him and they play in the Premier League.
Well, for Fattah, I've been lucky to follow his journey for a bit. He showed, when he broke onto the scenes, steadfast, was scoring goals for the youth teams and moves to Dreams. There was that decision to be made to go outside, and I'm happy that I throughout all of that period, at least I had access to some of the information and the thinking that went behind the decision making. But just to summarize, he had the opportunity to go to Liverpool. That didn't work out too well. Went to Bayer Leverkusen. Who knows? He could have been playing under Alonso. But there was an NDA.
And going 46 unbeaten. But some of us 49. Shout out to all Arsenal fans from wherever you may be listening.
Yeah, so I mean, back to Fattah. Yeah, he could have been at Bayer Leverkusen, but then an NDA was broken and issues with the agent. In the end, he settled for Sporting Lisbon, which on paper was a good deal. They paid just over $1 million for his services, and the plan was actually for him to be integrated in the team and become a superstar. Right. So the moment they signed him, look, how many Ghanaian players have been signed for $1 million from Ghana? This kid wasn't even 18. They waited for him to turn 18. Yeah. In fact, when he joined the Sporting youth teams, they actually banned everyone from taking pictures of him just so that he could start training with the team.
Yeah.
And that proved to be beneficial because in the few weeks leading to when he turned 18, by the time he turned 18, the youth coaches said that, look, we've seen enough. This guy should be part of the senior team next season. And I don't know, I thought that was a good decision at first. But unfortunately, maybe it came a bit too soon. Ruben Amorim, in the end, wasn't too comfortable with some of the decision making. That it looked as if he was a bit too raw under him, still needed a lot of development. So it's almost like a communication gap where the technical team sees him somewhere, but Ruben Amorim doesn't seem in that light. And the thing is that he's competing for a league, he's in the Champions League. He didn't have the time to really develop, especially when he had the likes of Marcus Edwards, a lot of talented players in that right wing position. So he had to now settle for the wing back role, something that he was struggling with. So, Amorim said, you know what, go back to B team. And that didn't sit too well with Fatal. He's in Europe, he was struggling with the language. So at the end of the season, Amorim has said that he's not part of his plans for the team A. So the next thing was he needed to look elsewhere. And Leicester came knocking. They'd just been relegated. He joined Leicester City, and there was the conditions that if he played 60% of the matches and gained promotion, they can buy him for 17 million. At the point, that was reasonable for them, although they had a release clause of 60 million euros, because they thought Fatal had been underwhelming and it would be absurd to charge anything close to that 60. And probably they didn't even think Leicester would play him that much and would even be promoted. But it's been just a remarkable season for him in the league. He has 12 assists. He's been creating chances.
So Oriku, I mean, I know that the football world can get a bit dicey. What if Sporting say, bring us our player, we're not selling?
No, the thing is, they signed a contract.
Okay.
The only thing that's holding Leicester back right now is the embargo, due to the financial issues that they had in their last season in the Premier League. But they will sort that out, trust me.
Okay.
And so they will sign Fatal. In fact, Amorim spoke to the press last week, and he sounded like a man who had given up on any possibility of. He said that unfortunately he couldn't work. I'm summarizing, it was in Portuguese, but I translated it. He said that, unfortunately, he couldn't work out. Fatal is a brilliant player. He would probably become a good player, but the time and everything was not good enough. But they're going to get their money. So if a coach is saying that, then you should know that it's quite. And the Team B coach who actually coached him and recommended him for the Team A also says that they wish they could have got a lot more and they saw a lot of potential. So basically, the commentary from Portugal they've admitted and accepted that. The kid is too happy. Look, how many of these players that we've spoken about have a chant? Look, how many players in Europe, from Europe, even have a chant? Look,
and then
they
always give him the phone to do whatever he wants with it.
This is like Kevin De Bruyne level influence, Haaland level. Look, even Bernardo Silva, no matter how good he is, he's not getting a chance from Man City. When your fans are singing your name and actually making a lone player, when was the last time you saw anything like this? The impact that he's had, I think, has been understated. And he's just come into a team that has been relegated and played a very, very key role. Look, this was a huge risk. Enzo Maresca from Man City. And, no one really thought that, this guy would just pop up and bring Leicester right back. But that's what he's done. And Fatal has been a very key part. He's been patient with him and Maresca on Fatal. So I think it's a very beautiful story. With time, the clause would definitely be. It was an obligation to buy. So now they have to. However, if they like, they should do GoFundMe to Ghana. If they don't have the money, Ghanaians will contribute 17 million. If we break it down, we're about 33, 36 million. We'll pay. We'll pay and make sure Fatal stays at Leicester.
Anyway, Fatal Shahaku needs to stay at Leicester City. Now, Anela, I mean, just look at the possibility of having Fatal in the Premier League. What's that going to do for Ghanaian football and for him?
I think it's going to be really massive for him. And like Rico was saying,
at the Emirates.
When you started asking me the question, I was shaking. I was literally shaking because 2015, 2016 was making me shake again. Leicester City.
No. Who plays on the left-hand side for you?
Nobody plays.
Tomiyasu.
Nobody plays. Don't mention it.
Zinchenko.
Don't mention.
Oh, Zinchenko against Fatal. Oh, my boy will feast.
No, but I think it's really big, and again, it's giving a lot of Ghanaians a chance to hope and dream again. And for him to do this at the Championship side and then usher his way back into the the Premier League, I think it's really huge. And the English fans are not a very forgiving set of fans. And so for them to believe in you enough to do this, I mean, people play, like Oriko was saying, for years, Africans, whatever, even their own people play, and they don't get this kind of recognition. But he's done it all, and it's really amazing to see. Everybody just shows just how much they believe in him.
Which players have chance at Arsenal? Oh, I'm just asking. I'm not being mischievous.
Saka,
Smith Rowe.
Havertz, Saliba.
Yeah, Saliba.
Saliba.
Havertz too has.
So none for Thomas Partey.
Yeah,
No,
you see,
he doesn't have.
You see,
Actually, he doesn't have.
It was because of a few issues, but very soon we are working on something. Bill and I, there's something in the pipeline. There's something in the pipeline. We're also working with Oreku. So when we win the league, I said Oreku, Kelvin, when we win the league, we are just planning a little special. So Bill is trying to get Arteta so that we can link to him on Zoom for 360.
Okay.
Yeah. but yeah, since I'm already talking about Arsenal, I beg, can I just then out?
Okay. No, we're actually going to go into the Premier League now.
Great.
So
let me
just before we go to the Premier League, though, I just have a
ball away, and Endo as well. And there is the goal. And Jared Bowen is the man that celebrates for the 20th time this season.
Jared Bowen, 20 goals for West Ham United. But before we talk about West Ham and Liverpool, let me give you an opportunity to talk about Arsenal. I didn't see the game today, so I don't know how you fared, but how was it?
You don't need to see it, but let me just tell you something that Saka said after the game, and I quote, "We learned our lessons last year. We are ready for the last 3 games."
Okay.
Yeah. You know this. I'll be the first person to admit that every time we're getting to the end of the season, Arsenal just manages to give the title to whoever it is that's standing before them. But aside the Aston Villa drop, which just ruined our unbeaten for 2024, you would have to admit that Arsenal are playing with a different kind of conviction and mentality. I want to put the Champions League defeat aside because Oreku has already touched on that, much to my sadness and dismay. But I think that it's a different Arsenal side that we are seeing in the very least. We saw their performance against Chelsea. We've seen their performance against Spurs. And it's more interesting because when it was just about, I think, 6 or 7 games left, everybody was like, Arsenal still have to play Chelsea. Arsenal still have to play Tottenham. Arsenal still have to play United. I mean, now we've played Tottenham. We've played Chelsea. We've gotten that out of the way. If we should look at the last 3 games, it's what? Everton, United, Bournemouth. Bournemouth too is a little shaky because it looks like...
Semenyo.
Semenyo will not do that to his fellow countryman.
Who's their fellow countryman?
Nketiah.
Nketiah, you warned me years ago, 2018, when I started shouting. I did not listen.
Defense is in trouble.
Nketiah in the room.
I told you people. Why you not listen?
No,
you don't listen.
But yeah, I think that Arsenal is playing like a lot of beautiful football.
Oh no, but
it's Arteta's to lose.
But you see this.
He's not even giving us breathing
room. No, City will never give you breathing room. No, City will never give you breathing room. The thing is that I've tweeted it that in a fair world, Arsenal need to win the league, and I've said it constantly this season that I think Arsenal needs to win the league. But right now the ball is in your court. I actually think you beat United at Old Trafford. But what you do with the rest is in your court.
I verily believe the same is true.
Because I don't know how you beat Everton because of Sean Dyche. And then the Bournemouth game will be very dicey for you guys. But I think that Old Trafford game, Arsenal will win that game. But
City,
we'll see how that
need
works
City
for
to
you.
drop points.
Where?
Either Wolves, Wolves or Spurs, or West Ham,
Wolves,
or even.
No, you know the problem right now.
That's the thing.
The problem right now is that by the Spurs have to play Chelsea, Liverpool before they meet City.
Yeah.
Aston Villa already 7 points ahead.
Yep.
By the time they meet City, if the Champions League is already out of hand,
if Spurs had won today, that would have been there.
No, it's not even about being deflated though. They will make sure that City wins to make Arsenal win the league.
Yeah, they'll make sure that you. No, it's true. It's true. Isn't that what?
Postecoglou said it. They also have to make the top 4.
No, they don't.
They have to try and make the top 4.
They don't care.
By that time,
the top 4 will be over. So they don't care.
Look,
they
will do anything they can to make sure that their rivals don't
We
win
were
the league.
still football fans when Gerrard passed the ball to Anelka to score, just because United and Chelsea were trying to fight for the title. We were still football fans. Gerrard literally passed the ball to him. Free pass. And people call this guy a legend. Free pass. He just passed the ball to the guy to score. So, yeah. I actually believe what Oreku is saying.
Can rest the players.
Yeah. Look at how Everton played against Liverpool. Yeah.
My jaw was dropping the entire.
They don't want them to win the
entire
thing.
game.
They don't want them to win.
And now Salah is angry.
So they'll mess it up for them.
Now Salah is angry, but for his pocket inside, he and Klopp. Next time, be making announcements.
Salah said that if he speaks, there'll be
They'll be
I think it'll be
Mourinho thing to say. I prefer not to speak.
Anyway, Bill, talk to me about Arsenal. I know you're itching to talk about Arsenal. Talk to me about Arsenal.
I mean, it felt more like a smash and grab than anything, because
sometimes you need that.
Yeah, and we needed that. Actually, we needed that. Just be efficient at the right time, and you'll be able to get the right results. I mean, the blemish was letting Tottenham come back, and that was partly due to Raya and his moments of madness. I don't know what he was thinking there, because no one was putting any pressure on him for him to make that error. But I think as compared to last season, Arsenal have performed considerably better in the year running. I mean, in the previous year, we saw a 5-game stretch where they had lost one, drawn about 3 before they actually won one. That was especially in April. But we've seen an Arsenal side that is actively still contesting for the Premier League trophy with 3 games to go. And so I think it's a nice improvement, but unfortunately, City we are going up against, and it's so difficult to take the title away from City unless they make a mistake. And it's not looking likely that they would make a mistake. But I think whatever happens, you still have to be proud of the kind of progress that Arsenal has made in the last few years under Arteta. Nobody gave him a dog's chance to get the club to this level, back to this level, but he's done it. I think all he needs now from next season onwards is to win as many trophies as possible. But for now, I mean, battle for it and hope that City makes a mistake.
Anyway, Chelsea Villa. I know that game looks like one of those games where you expected. I mean, for this season, you expect that Aston Villa would pick up the points just because of how good they've been and all of that.
Yeah.
Rick, were you impressed with your Chelsea team against Villa?
Yeah. I think the performance was the sort of response that Chelsea needed from the midweek game against Arsenal. I think they were more aggressive. Yes, Villa might have taken the lead early in the game, but I think if you're looking at the game overall, Chelsea probably did enough to win it and were very dominant from the start. It's not surprising considering that we met Villa at Villa Park in the cup, and it was a similar game where we saw Chelsea dominate once again. And so maybe it's just something that Pochettino has over Emery, but whenever they meet in recent times, Pochettino seems to have the upper hand tactically. I thought the turning point in the game was that third goal. I don't know why the goal isn't allowed to stand, especially because the referee can clearly see it. And the point of VAR is to ensure that it checks for clear and obvious errors, and in that regard, you want to make sure that it doesn't re-referee the game. So the meaning is that you don't want every tiny aspect call VAR, come and check. No, what you want is that the referee did not spot this, or he misinterpreted or he misjudged it, so it's a clear and obvious error, and so come and take a look. This is what actually happened. The referee was 3 yards. There was no defender in sight. He saw the budge. And look, I don't mind if the referee himself gave a free kick, because it's one of those. The referee can decide to give, or can also say, because if you look at the marker that had been set in the game, he was letting a lot of 50-50 challenges go. We were pushing each other, sliding, tackle each other, and he was letting all of that go. And it makes sense that for such a challenge, he let it go as well. This time it leads to a goal and he scored back. It doesn't make sense, because even if you look at Arsenal corner kicks today, White was harassing Vicario. It's part of the game. You have to stand sure. The question today, people are saying Vicario had to be stronger. Diego Carlos, this 60 kg monster, is telling me that he couldn't hold his own ground and just stood there and someone pushes you, and he didn't even fall down, he didn't even appeal. It's just purely embarrassing. And I think it's just a case of the how the VAR is being used in England. That's what's brought a lot of question marks. And I was very hurt, because I think for the first time in a very long time, Chelsea did enough to win the game.
They showed a bit of fight.
Yeah, it should have been the 3 points. But it's another good step. Just that I feel whenever we have a conversation like this, the next game, then they take steps back again.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what everyone is wondering about. Where would the consistency, finally come from?
Or maybe you guys need to just see the season out, and then and then hopefully next season we'll see how it goes for Chelsea Football Club. But also Manchester United drawing 1-1 with Burnley. Bill, let me have your take on that, and then we'll head to Leverkusen and talk about what the special thing that they are doing out there. Bill.
Well, the The game again.
United.
The United one.
United Burnley.
The United Burnley. United. It's always some way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Onana is still conceding shots. Let me put this into perspective for you. After United played, I think Chelsea.
Yeah.
The rest of the fixtures, everybody said, "Oh, these are relatively easy fixtures."
Yeah, winnable.
Yeah, I mean, it was Coventry, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Burnley,
yeah,
and Sheffield,
yeah.
and United have won 1 out of those 4.
It's even that one they have to come from behind.
Exactly.
And for Ten Hag to come out and say this is the most dominant and good-looking side that he's seen in United, it feels like he's being delusional sometimes.
Yeah,
very delusional.
I watched that Burnley game, and if there was any team supposed to be disappointed with the result, it's Burnley.
It's Burnley, yeah.
Burnley played better.
They played way better.
They created better situations.
Onana was so busy.
See the quotes. Prosper, put the quotes out. I think we are one of the most dynamic, entertaining teams in the league. What kind of delusion will make you say
because you're
this?
conceding shots?
It's crazy. For a team as inconsistent as this,
yeah.
you are nowhere close to being dynamic or entertaining.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think the United fans and the ownership should start reconsidering the position of Ten Hag, whether he should continue as coach of the club, because it's been two seasons now, and if you are supposed to see some progress, you should see that by year 2. If you want to see progress in the side, but you're not really seeing the kind of progress you want to see. I mean, year 1 they got to the Champions League, year 2 they're dropping away from the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's like it's a retrogression more or less.
Yep.
And so I don't think he's, for now, like what we're seeing, I don't think he's the right man for the job. And I think United need a reset, really.
Very cool. Let's talk about Leverkusen. And it looked like they were going to lose this weekend. It just didn't happen.
At this point, we've run out of words. It's almost like there's something, and I like Boniface's tweets after the game. If you watch Nigerian movies, you would understand the character that he put out there. But it almost feels like there's some kind of spirit behind him.
Yep.
And the thing about this is that there's always context attached. That they've celebrated a party, they've won the league. And so, you have to be measured in how maybe some of these games that you thought against Stuttgart, against Dortmund, getting equalizers in the very deep into added time. But, I mean, I would go back to what I said the last time, that it's difficult to really measure how good this Bayern side are. This is Leverkusen. Because there's always room.
So look at it. Late goals have been integral to Bayern Leverkusen's 46 match unbeaten run this season. 90 plus 4 against Bayern, 90 plus 4 against Karabakh, 90 plus 4 against Augsburg. In the 91st minute against Leipzig, 91st minute against Stuttgart, against Karabakh again, they did it twice. And then Hoffenheim, Dortmund, Stuttgart, and then yesterday, which is crazy performance there from them.
Yeah. And as I was saying, it's difficult to really measure how good they are, because there's momentum in football, and momentum is a good thing, but the thing about momentum is that you won't always have it.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult to really detach how good this team would be next season when all the momentum is gone and they start, as opposed to them continuing this run, because look, they don't even have to play well. They just find a way of equalizing from nowhere.
Yeah.
And that first defeat, I don't know at what point it will come, but I remember advising them that it should come in the league or somewhere that is not too... Because I just feel, depending on where the defeat comes, it can actually make the season end in a sad way, which it should have been a happy way. Because you see, right now, there's some extra pressure on them that you have to win every game, you have to draw. Yeah. And they've been so close to losing so many times. Imagine they go on and lose the German Cup or the Europa semi-final. All of a sudden, you start to feel like, our mojo is gone. And I stated that whenever these unbeaten runs come to an end, it doesn't just end and the team picks up right from gear 6 again. There's always some form of deflation.
Yeah.
There's always some form of intoxication that has to be removed. And that's a process. It takes time. So I don't know how long they would take to react if they lose that. The best thing is that they go unbeaten this season. Because I just have a feeling when they lose that first game, they will be back to maybe their true level.
Yeah.
Right now, they are operating at a spiritual level. So yeah, that's just only the question mark. But I think they're a very brilliant side. Have had a very remarkable. I've seen some conversations going around if they manage to win the league, Europa, and German Cup unbeaten, whether that will rank as the best season ever. I don't know what you guys think about that, but it's a tricky discussion. Maybe we can have that next week.
Yeah, we'll probably have that next week. Prosper, put that on the cards. We'll have that next week. If they are able to do that, then we'll see how that goes for Bayer Leverkusen. But I just want to pick out a few, something small from the La Liga. Atletico Madrid beat Athletic Club by 3-1 in yesterday's game. Rodrigo de Paul and Nico Williams also scoring there for Athletic Club in that game as well. And also in some other games, let me see. Fulham took on Crystal Palace. That game also ended 1-1 in here. And also Newcastle United beat Sheffield by 5-1. Sheffield have essentially been relegated from the English Premier League. Alexander Isak getting 2 goals on the day. Callum Wilson also coming off the bench to add on to the goals in there. Now my man, Prosper, has joined us in the studio. Prosper, let's talk a bit about the La Liga. Yeah. And, Atletico Madrid, 3-1 against Athletic Bilbao. Atletico Madrid themselves their season has been very undulating. What can you say about them?
Yeah, it just speaks volumes about Diego Simeone and how he's managed to pick Atleti. I mean, ever since he took charge after 2010, 2011, thereabout, he's managed to win some good titles with Atleti. But over the past few years, or past 5 years in La Liga, that's the time or the period where he's had so much talent, like at his disposal, and he's never really got the ability to get the best out of his team or get his team to dominate so well, especially in Europe and in La Liga as well. He's used to getting that goal, getting those 2 goals and going to sit back and defend. Yeah. He prefers it that way. But I feel like, especially 2 seasons ago, even the 2021 league when they won, 2021 when they won the league with Luis Suarez, where he scored about 22, 23 goals for them. Athletic were really depending on those comebacks, and anytime they score, they'll go and sit back, and that's okay for you to get a league title. But I feel like for the last few years, before this season, where they had João Felix, they had Correa, they had Griezmann, they had this, you were expecting a manager with so much talent at his disposal to go and stamp his authority against the opposition he faces, but it's not really been that way. This season, however, it didn't start so great, but they managed to get back into the top 4. It looks like they will get into the top 4 again. Barca, Girona, Real Madrid will obviously stay at the top. I think the highlight yesterday was Nico Williams and the racist abuse he suffered at the Wanda Metropolitano. It's a place where a player like Vinicius has also suffered it recently, and after Rodrigo de Paul got the first goal, Nico Williams then suffered that racist abuse from the fans at the Metropolitano, and then the referee had to call the game for about 2 minutes to be delayed, and there was an anti-racist message passed on in the stadium. Right. And then a few minutes later, Nico Williams went on to score. Yeah. But Atleti did well to get back into the game in the second half and then grab all the 3 points. I think it sums up their season. After they knocked out Inter, you were hoping that, look, they were actually going to beat Dortmund and think that maybe this Champions League, on the path or on the side where they find themselves,
they should have beaten Dortmund.
They should have beaten Dortmund to the final and has something out of the season. If they did meet Barcelona in the semi-final, should Barca have beaten PSG? Even if they face this PSG side,
you think they
could have gotten a result and made the final. It could have been an all Madrid final for the 10th time again, but they couldn't make the best out of it. That's that.
Anyway, your Barcelona side takes on Valencia later tomorrow. What are your chances looking?
It's a very difficult one for Barca because knowing that the first leg was a game where they had about 9 chances, clear-cut chances on goal, and they had the opener. And then they should have gone for more, but they were just passing the ball around, getting complacent. And I think the 86th minute, Valencia struck and it was at home at the Mestalla Stadium in Spain, and then Valencia managed to get a draw, and that's when Madrid extended the lead to 7 points on it, and that's how Barca lost the league. So it's that game where they feel like, even though they've lost everything now this season, they're not going to win the league. Out of the Champions League, knocked out the Copa del Rey, lost the Super Cup 4-1 to Real Madrid. Xavi staying. This is the time where the young players like Amin Yamal, Kubasi, the boys from La Masia and the others, Lewandowski will be hoping that if it's 3 or 4 goals behind Bellingham now in the league, he should be doing his best to just grab the goals and all of that and sum up the season for them.
I know they say that only a fool doesn't change his mind, but in Barcelona's coaching situation, it's only a fool that will change your mind. And that's Xavi and Barcelona.
I agree.
Look, permit me for my words, but it's quite unnecessary, quite stupid for a big club like this to come into the public with this whole mess. I think it just summarizes how Barcelona has been running these past weeks. It's almost like Jurgen Klopp saying that, okay, I think I'll stay at Liverpool. I said that my energy ran out about. You know what? I'll stay. Who will even take you serious? Look, there's something called integrity. There's something called due process. For a coach to come out and say something like this, it should have gone through all the possible checks. Oh, Xavi, are you sure? We'll look at this. What are the reasons why you want? Let's talk about this more. Relax. Any club who is serious. When Pep announced he was leaving Barcelona, he left. When he announced he was leaving Bayern, he left. Any serious coach, any serious institution,
I think the circumstances for Xavi's announcement when he said he was going to leave was after the 5-3 defeat to Villarreal at home at the stadium. And right after that game, it looked like Barca's season was just going away. And Real Madrid, I think, they will extend the point. That's why they moved to 8 points clear, because I think Madrid dropped points that weekend. Should Barca have won?
So it was a knee-jerk reaction.
And then he just went to the dressing room. A few 10-15 minutes later, it's out in the press. So then he said it in his post-match.
So then maybe Xavi also needs to work on his temperament a bit.
Oh yeah, I think that's
too many red cards.
I think when he was a footballer, I think there's a record between Xavi and Iniesta. One of them was never red carded in La Liga throughout their career. I think Xavi has a record. But in his career this season as a coach, he's had more red cards than any player in La Liga. As a coach.
He needs. I think he needs to work on his temperament, because Oriku, if you're a coach of Barcelona and after losing a game 5-3, you go to the press conference and say you are not continuing.
When you are still in the Champions League.
Exactly. Like, how do you look? Eric Ten Hag got beat 7-0 and he said they played well. He didn't go. Exactly. And I feel like he needs to work on his temperament.
I also think that Barcelona are in that position where there's not enough financial strength to go into the market and bring in a new coach, start the whole club all over.
You see, the thing is that I honestly think that I know that Barca are in very dire financial situation, but regardless of it, they won the league last season. They are second this season. I don't think that they need to be overly worried because, trust me, when I started hearing Barcelona's financial thing, I thought they were going to finish like 6th or 7th. But they're still in there somewhere. Next season, if Real Madrid falter a bit and Atletico don't get their ass together, they could win the league again. Exactly. So I really hope that they can keep and they really need to talk to Xavi, because his temperament is not.
It was that game against PSG that I mean, I've seen the red card incidents so many times, but in that game against PSG, where you're 10 men down and you're at home and you're a manager, and you feel like after the referee makes a call, it wasn't even on the Araujo challenge, a call on one of the moments on the pitch, and then you just go out. I don't want to say the
maybe that's
very bad. And
maybe that's
he sets off, and then he whispers to his brother that Charlie maybe you don't do that. You don't shy away from the big stage.
Look at Arteta on the touchline. Look at Pep on the touchline. Maybe it's a Spanish thing. Maybe they are all very animated.
Oh, no, but they don't get sent off in the season 5 times.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No, they are all very animated. But you see, the thing about the Premier League is that to get you sent off on the touchline, it takes a lot. So maybe in La Liga the rules and the Premier League rules are not probably the same. But I understand what you mean. But let's head to the Champions League. Oriku, on Tuesday, 30th April, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. This is an age-old rivalry in Champions League settings. It's a semi-final that has been played so many times. How's this one looking like at the Allianz Arena?
Well, I think since Bayern got the upper hand about 13 years ago in that penalty shootout when Mourinho was around, it's been Real Madrid throughout, and I think they'll be glad that Cristiano Ronaldo is not part of the Madrid team this time. I mean, just on the dynamics, playing at home, I think is always a disadvantage because no matter how the first leg goes, the opponent has the ability to turn it around at their own home. And so that in itself plays into Real Madrid hands. But if there's one manager who would not be faced by that Bernabeu hostile environment, I think it would be Thomas Tuchel. He's only lost once in 8 matches against them. And even with an inferior team, a Chelsea team with the likes of Alonso, Kovacic, Mount, he still managed to beat Madrid and then also get close to beating them again in the Champions League. So I think, it's going to be a much closer match than a lot of people do think. For Bayern, they're like a wounded lion. A team that know that this is their only shot at a trophy. I think they will give it their all. And in that regard, that would make the tie a lot more closer. For Real, just like they've done in so many years, there's always that added advantage of having heritage in this competition. And that alone strikes fear in the opponents that even when you think they're dead, you know that you've not killed them yet. They're still alive in the competition. So that's one thing that Ancelotti and his boys can also hold on to. But Bayern said that they're saying that they'll paint the Allianz red on Tuesday. They are calling on their fans to come in and support them. I think it will be a great game of football. 2 teams who hopefully would go for it. And I think at the end, it feels like one of those fixtures where the difference would be something really marginal. Very, very it could go to penalties, it could come to a mistake, but I just think this game will definitely go all the way because whoever wins it would probably win the Champions League.
My boy Harry Kane needs to do something this time. He really needs to do something this time.
I think one interesting thing about that game will be the whole Bellingham and Musiala battle. I think it will be two good friends.
They're friends,
will be on the pitch and show enough quality. I think that game will give us a lot of quality as well.
PSG Dortmund.
I think the Enrique side to reach the final. You know, not just because
Barcelona.
Oh no. It has nothing to do with Barcelona. I think Dortmund were the better side in the group stages because they were in the group of death together, all 2 of them. I think that was the group where they had AC Milan as well and Newcastle. And so it was a really, really great one. And Dortmund made sure to top the group. And I think PSG will know that this time it's home and away. Just make it count. If they win, they're in the final again for the first time since 2020 again. So it's about they'll be in 2 finals in about 4 years, and that's impressive. And they know that it's Real Madrid they might face or Bayern Munich. But look, and if they do face Bayern Munich in the final, then it's a rematch of the 2019-2020 season. So it's that type of game. But I do think that PSG will show their quality. Mbappe knows that the Ballon d'Or is at stake, and if he reaches the final, he doesn't even win it, but has a good enough season, wins the league, has a good time at the Euros, then perhaps he can also have a good chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. So
thank you for steering the conversation into the Ballon d'Or. It's the final thing we are going to be talking about this evening here on the Sports Ultra. So from the list you have given me, Prosper, you say that the Ballon d'Or front runners, in your opinion, Kane, Bellingham, Foden, Mbappe.
I don't think so. Very cool.
Kane, Bellingham, Foden, Mbappe. There's no Haaland in Prosper's.
But he doesn't deserve to be there.
He said
Kane, Bellingham, Foden, Mbappe. Phil Foden.
Harry Kane out. So
what if he did not win the Euros and he's the top scorer?
No, we are not doing what you've seen.
We are not doing
the
what
mere fact that he has lost the league in this way to Bayer Leverkusen.
Exactly.
It doesn't make him win.
But the thing is, if Bayern win the league,
Champions League,
Bayern win the Champions League, and then
I don't think he's been a front runner for Bayern's Champions League campaign. He hasn't fronted it. Because even against Arsenal, then again, he scored a penalty. But he's just not. Maybe unless he really shows up in the semi-finals and the finals.
I think he scores a hat trick against Real Madrid.
6 or 7 goals in the title.
Scores a hat trick against Real Madrid.
Then maybe he comes into this. But I think at the moment, Kylian Mbappe just won the league, by the way. I think the thing about Mbappe is that he's French. Ballon d'Or is a French award. He has that aura. He's already won the World Cup. People already feel it is a matter of when, not if. So there's that sort of how do I even describe this? But is sort of imminent. It's almost inevitable that Mbappe will win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
So because of that, he's always a favorite. And you're looking at the type of season that he's had, where he's outscoring anyone, I think, except Harry Kane. I just think he's favorites because in the end, PSG will probably make the. And you see, unlike Kane, if PSG go on to win the Champions League, all fingers will point to Mbappe. It's his team.
Yeah.
And so I think Mbappe is just slightly ahead of, maybe he's neck and neck with Bellingham. Let me put it that way. Because I still think Bellingham is also fronting this Madrid campaign for some reason.
Yeah.
But he appears to show up in very key moments in the league, in the Champions League. And the Ballon d'Or, I've always said, it's not about playing football. No. It's all about being alive in the key moments.
Yes.
You know, Messi won the World Cup, 7 matches.
Yeah.
And he won it. Bellingham, I think, is flowing.
Oriku, let me put you in the corner. If you were a Real Madrid fan or Real Madrid president, you had to vote between Mbappe and Bellingham. Who are you voting for?
This season, I'll go for Bellingham. He's my player. He's my player. Mbappe is not in yet.
I think the thing would be that in the summer, Mbappe would have already joined Madrid. It's not like you're voting to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you see, I don't trust this Mbappe guy. PSG can win the Champions League and this guy will stay.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. Look, how many times has he been close to joining Madrid? For some reason, everyone is saying you come. But I don't trust this guy. If he wins, imagine PSG go on to win the quadruple.
Yeah, sure. He can even sign for 1 year.
No, he can extend. Look, he's had a meeting with Macron. Nobody knows what was really discussed in the meeting. But till date, once it's not been signed and agreed, nobody has confirmed that he's really going to Madrid. You never know.
Yeah,
I think you just never know.
I think Macron is too invested in this.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way. I think that's the only way to tie the player down right now, because I think it's just been so hard. Even in seasons where it looked like as though Madrid had already secured him, they always had to find a way. They had to use the
because you see, the moment PSG win the only reason why he's technically going to Madrid is because he wants to stand a better chance of winning the Champions.
Yeah.
If he wins and then PSG say, okay, now we think that European football, the level has come down a bit. This is our chance to really dominate. Who do you want in the market? We can go back inside and invest. This is your team now. They can just make him some promises and you sign another 1.5 year or 2 years and then he's there again before he realizes he's 30.
Anyway, so you're saying it's between Bellingham and Mbappe?
Yeah, I think it's Bellingham and Mbappe.
But don't you guys think in the Champions League, the person who's rose up to the occasion the more for Real Madrid has been Rodrigo for most aspects and Valverde. I'm not saying they're going to win the. I'm not saying they're going to win the Ballon d'Or. But you look at Vinicius, look at Rodrigo. They'll play the Copa America. If they win everything, Bellingham's won, and Bellingham doesn't do well at the Euros. And in the Euros, he has to bring.
England, do you know something? Do you know something?
And Vinicius wins.
Look, there's no.
He also has a push.
Look, there's no way. No way, but I don't think that there would be a way where if Bellingham and Vinicius are to be chosen for something, they'll choose Vinicius. I don't think so.
You see, the thing is,
true.
There's something called affinity in sports.
Yes.
Some people just have that aura.
They have it.
And I just think Bellingham really has the affinity for individual. Look, this guy won the Copa ahead of Musiala.
Yeah.
If it was based on numbers and performance, there's no way Musiala. Look, Bellingham had a better season than Musiala in the same league.
Player of the year, the previous year.
And he won the Copa trophy.
The next year, I think.
And then he's won the Laureus Award, Breakthrough Award.
Yes.
Look, everything is just in line.
Yep.
And these type of players, that's the thing. Like, he will just come up and score some important win in the Champions League final. Yep. It's part of their DNA. They just live for moments like that. And Ronaldo had it.
Yeah.
Ronaldo had it. And I think Vinicius just doesn't have that in his locker.
Vinicius doesn't have it. Yeah.
You see, he's not quote unquote likable.
Yeah.
Because I think he's South American, wants to get into the face of opponents, sort of like psychologically get in your head and all that. But Jude is seen as some demigod who is light years ahead of his mates. He's only 20. And look at the maturity in his interviews. Yep. Everyone here is like the commentary around him is forming a likable character. Yep. And that's what the Ballon d'Or has become now. It's a vote. journalists and captains will go and vote. They will vote for the people that they've been forced into your face.
Yeah,
And
that's
Bellingham has been forced into your face.
This angle. So what happens if Real Madrid do not win the Champions League?
I think he'll still be there.
If,
He'll be the front three, I think. But
but
Yeah,
it
I
depends
think
who
it's
wins
still
it for.
there.
Let's
If-
work on the perception who wins it.
Who wins it?
and Kylian Mbappe wins the Champions League.
Oh, then Mbappe.
Oh, then
will
Mbappe will win.
Mbappe
Yeah,
also
Mbappe
has
I also
one.
think the Euros, like that summer tournament, and what slightly happens after the Euros to the end of the season. I know that doesn't count for much, especially but if Bellingham has a really great season, doesn't win the Champions League, and Mbappe perhaps wins it, or he goes into the Euros international tournament and doesn't go any good for England, and then right after he comes into the new season, he's injured to the end of the season, doesn't play many games.
Yeah, everybody forgets.
Everybody forgets the Ballon. Those things happen.
Yeah,
towards
that's
the
true.
end.
It's true. It's facts. Yeah,
It
it's
happens
facts.
a lot. So I think what happens on the international scene when we go on the break, and what happens slightly after when we resume to club football as well, also play a little role. In the
we'll see how it goes for both of them. But I mean, Bellingham is a really
He
likable
won't
person.
give Phil Foden any shot.
Oh no. No. Phil Foden is not close. He's a good player. He's doing really well, but I don't think he's close. I think you see that's the thing Oreko was talking about. I think the Ballon d'Or is even more about politics than anything, you know. And there are certain players who have been groomed to get those roles. Look, when Harry Redknapp didn't get the England job, he said one thing, and he said that the England job is for a certain kind of people, and he doesn't think that he fits that, you know, level of how England want their manager to be.
See, he's been very honest with himself.
No, I mean, he just knows the system.
Yeah.
And he was hurt for not getting the England job, but he knows the system. And if you look at the managers of England since Capello, it's been Hodgson, then they brought in Sam Allardyce, and then they brought in Gareth Southgate. You understand? No, so you see that the trend. If Southgate leaves, there's a possibility that they'll bring in one of these, you know, really young coaches who's exactly. So it's not, you know, like it's a political thing, Minnie. And you see, the more someone is pushed to you as the choice for something, the more you think about it. Because trust me, you would go on the streets today and ask people Bellingham or Vinicius, and everybody will say Bellingham.
Yeah,
but Vinicius is actually, you know, doing a lot better than Bellingham this season. But that's the thing. Oreku, thank you so much for your inputs today. Prosper Kuzo, thank you so much for joining me. Produced the show brilliantly today. And also, Bileshen and Anil Alote were here to also share their inputs on Sports Ultras right here on 3FM 92.7. We'll see you again next week with another exciting edition of the show. Stay with us on 3FM 92.7. A lot more exciting programs will come.